I'm Richard. I was the product lead for Teamfight Tactics. Absolutely. I think that's one of the big reasons that we came here, with China being such a huge part of Teamfight Tactics and League of Legends. They represent like millions of players around the world, and their feedback is often like what a bunch of other players would feel.
云顶之弈消耗换。
Shanghai University, because it was beautiful. It had like amazing trees, great fields, an incredible bakery, PC bongs nearby, and the students were awesome. They were super friendly and they played TFT, so of course I'd probably have to choose that place.
两个羁绊之间的互相克制的关系，比如说像狂野对约德尔的那样，然后造成一个大家就是可以互相克制的，而不是说一个羁绊它只有它单独的属性，而没有与别的羁绊相联系的属性。
We're adding more of the first one, more wild versus Yordle. So like we're making traits that'll be like, oh, you should go this when the enemy team's going auto attack base. You should go this when they're going heavy in mages. You should go this if they're going heavy in tanky units. So that if you're smart and you're looking ahead and see what other people are building, you can choose a strategy and you can counter theirs. So we're going with a lot more deliberate strategy. And we're taking some pretty big swings in set 2 to really broaden what we hope the meta for TFT, both from reducing the number of available champions at different tiers, to making the traits have more like rock, paper, scissors type. I thought it was really nice that the student brought me a little taste of home and some traditional food. And she brought me 2 types of stinky tofu. The second one looked like it had been left out on the counter for a few days. It looked kind of black and just kind of old. Okay, that one's kind of weird. I didn't like that one so much. It kind of left a weird taste in my mouth. One thing I loved about getting to play the game with players in the PC bong was early on when we were trying to figure out like who our audience for TFT was, who we were making the game for. It was people, or one of the large groups was people sitting in PC cafes in China, Korea, Vietnam, playing with their friends in groups, and really having it be more of like a social experience as opposed to Summoner's Rift where you're playing and it's really serious. And that like when you get knocked out, you're standing behind your friend and telling them that, oh no, roll, 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 level, 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 kill, 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 Pantheon, Pantheon, Pantheon.
No, 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 no.
And getting to see that actually happen in the PC bong here was incredible. It's like we had painted a picture of we hope this is what happens, but then actually seeing that happen was great. No. Yeah. This morning we went and watched a tournament, and as people were getting knocked out, they were all starting to stand behind everyone, the people that were still in the game, and helping like cheer them on, which I thought was really cool. In terms of the level of play, I would say that the students here are pretty good. The players are pretty good. I played two games with the students from the university. I will say, the PC that I was playing at, on the other side there was a screen so that players that weren't playing could watch. And I could tell if I was doing something that was stupid because I would hear them in Mandarin being like, what is he doing? I could hear the questioning in their voice that I was doing something wrong. I just needed to hide. I just needed to get out. So yeah, it's kind of hard when there's people all over the place. It felt like the only place I could go was under the desk. So I hid under there and pulled the chair close, but the people beside me saw, so they just pointed it out, and then I think they came over with the cameras, which was, I was just trying to hide. I was embarrassed. Losing first was, coming last wasn't super great. It was awesome. it was really cool getting to talk to the KOLs here in Shanghai. It's easy for us to think about TFT players as TFT players in America because that's where we live, that's where we work, that's who we get to talk to most. And we try to come up with ideas for what we want to do with Teamfight Tactics in the future to make it exciting for players. And then coming here and talking to some KOLs, and they have ideas that are very similar to our own that we talk about and we think are really creative and fun. It's really exciting, and it was actually really funny to hear him pitch his idea. Like, I'm not sure if this would be good. I think it would be cool. And we're like, yeah, that sounds great. We've already been thinking about something along the same lines. So it was really neat hearing that from the KOL.
好像最近了，
有点过分，兄弟。
感觉下这个版本还是游侠最强。老鼠这张卡嘛，老鼠这张卡就离谱，因为它4费，它只要开出大招，它就等于有火炮，而且它是穿透性的火炮，随便给它一个羊刀，它只要一把羊刀真的，然后给它配个4游侠的羁绊，或者给它转个职，转成剑士什么的，转成光都很猛。我觉得肯定要削，它只要不削，我敢保证它出来所有人都在抢这张老鼠。
Super satisfying.
我也有。
我其实玩了几个阵容，包括尝试了召唤师的阵容，然后尝试了法师的阵容，也尝试了游侠的转型。然后的话呢，我会发现其实法师依旧还是很强大，尤其是这个版本法师的它的一个特性是连续释放2次技能，所以再加上法师的转型，其实给了很多的可能性。比如说安妮的2个大招，安妮作为召唤师，她能召唤2头熊，这就是一个很强力的表现。那比如说我配上护卫的石头人，这种强力的大控制，2个大招放下去也会特别的有意思。我觉得其实可玩性还是非常高的，然后还是想说法师这个版本比上个版本更强了。
我首先比较喜欢玩就在召唤峡谷喜欢玩鳄鱼嘛，那么他在这个新版本里面给加了鳄鱼，那我就得把它研究好一下，所以我去尝试了鳄鱼。它主要是鳄鱼它首先是个狂战士，所以我连续玩了2把狂战士，然后它还是一个沙漠是一个就护甲穿透，所以我要结合它2个一起玩。而鳄鱼这英雄的前期主要是属性前期比较能打，但是打到中期后期它肯定不是 C 位。
We want 1, 2, and 3 cost units to be able to fit your team and actually contribute more than just by activating a trait and enabling like the higher tier units. But we also want to make sure that they're not able to solo carry a game by themselves. So if you get a 3-star Darius on set 1 or live right now, it's probably a bit stronger than we would like because it can carry too hard, especially with the right items, where we really want you to transition from your early game comp to a late game comp in set 2, and we're seeing a lot less of that on live right now. I had a pretty cool conversation with one of the players yesterday. He said that he really wishes that TFT was a lot faster because he thinks games right now are a little bit long. And when I asked him how fast, he was like, somewhere around like 15 to 20 minutes, which is almost half of what they are right now. And on one hand, I can get it. It's like, you can fit more games in. It fits into your schedule more often. It's easier to say, just one more. But when I challenged him on some of the feedback that we got from players, when it's like, why do you play TFT? And they mentioned, I like it that it's low stress, that there's pauses that I can do my homework or look at my phone or look at Weibo. Being able to do that kind of stuff, like if we make the game faster, you lose all of that and it becomes much more high stress where you always have to pay attention to the computer. And when we talked about it, and after I asked like which side he prefers, he was like, well, I guess there are 2 extremes, but now that you mentioned, I think I would prefer the longer version. And I thought that was really interesting, like back and forth. And that's where like discussion can be really, really fun. Because as game developers, we'll frequently have players be like, why don't they just, and then do a thing. And sometimes, we often have good reasons, sometimes we don't, sometimes we're just making mistakes. But when we're able to have a back and forth conversation with a player, we're able to explain our reasoning why, and it makes more sense and like they can understand where we're coming from.
别再到处蹦跶了。
go back to LA, like we want to find ways to take the feedback that we got from them and understand what changes we can make to the game based on their feedback to make TFT better.